Let's start with a single transmission stunned the scientific community, not for its melody or message, but for what it might represent: the first contact with intelligent life beyond Earth. 1. Wow signal. In August 1977, a strange signal was picked up by the Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio. A signal so strong and so unusual that astronomer Jerry Ehman circled it on the printout and simply wrote "wow" beside it. Imagine being so shocked by what you find that you grab a pen and scribble a single word, "wow," on the printout. That's exactly what astronomer Jerry Ehman did. This 72-second signal, forever known as the wow signal, has since become one of the most famous unexplained radio transmissions in history. For starters, the signal was unlike anything ever detected before. It was a narrow-band radio wave, exactly the kind scientists expected an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization might send. It was detected at a frequency of 420 megahertz, known as the hydrogen line. It's a specific radio signal that comes from hydrogen, the most common element in the cosmos, which scientists believe would be a logical choice for interstellar communication. Think of it as the universe's favorite radio station, where everyone, alien or not, might tune in. The signal appeared to come from deep space, in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, but despite repeated attempts to detect it again, the signal has never reappeared. Astronomers like Jerry Ehman weren't just scanning randomly. They were following the SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence initiative, a focused effort to detect alien communications. It was a once-in-a-lifetime event, sending shockwaves through the scientific community and captivating the public's imagination. For decades, experts have debated its origin. Some believe it could have been an alien civilization trying to contact us, finally offering proof that we're not alone in the universe. Others suggest more mundane possibilities, like radio interference from a terrestrial source or even a satellite. More recently, some researchers have considered the idea that the signal may have come from a passing comet, which can emit radio signals as they release gas and dust. However, no definitive explanation has ever been found. Even skeptics agree that the precision and duration of the signal make it stand out from typical earthly interference. Despite scanning the skies in the same direction for years, the wow signal has never been detected again. It's as if whatever or whoever sent the signal did so only once and then vanished without a trace. This has left scientists and enthusiasts alike frustrated, but also fascinated, as the mystery continues to fuel imaginations and hope. Some experts now suggest that the wow signal remains one of the best candidates for extraterrestrial communication. Even today, more than 4 decades later, the debate continues. Could this have been a cosmic hello from an alien civilization? Or was it just another unsolved anomaly of the vast universe? What if this wasn't just a random signal, but a deliberate attempt by another civilization to reach out to us, just once, before slipping back into the cosmic void? And if we only heard it once, what does that say about our place in the universe? It remains one of the strongest pieces of evidence that the universe might be teeming with life, silent, distant, but perhaps watching us. But while the wow signal flickered briefly and disappeared, our next broadcast has been persistent for decades. Imagine a voice suddenly breaking through the hum, a voice speaking in cryptic Russian, delivering a string of numbers or code words. For over 4 decades, one station has haunted the airwaves with a monotone buzz interrupted by eerie, rare transmissions. But who or what is behind it? Chapter 2. UVB-76, also known as the buzzer. For over 4 decades, a mysterious radio station has been broadcasting a monotonous buzz, almost non-stop, from somewhere deep within Russia. The first known mention of UVB-76 was in 1982, but its origins likely date back even earlier, shrouded in Soviet secrecy. It's been transmitting the same eerie tone, occasionally interrupted by strange voices speaking in Russian, and to this day, no one knows exactly why. The buzzer broadcasts on the shortwave frequency 4625 kHz and has puzzled radio enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and intelligence agencies alike. Every minute or so, the station emits a low, repetitive buzzing sound, hence the name. But what has made this station so intriguing is the rare moment when the buzzing stops and a voice can be heard relaying cryptic messages, usually strings of numbers, names, or code words. Each time this happens, it feels like a small glimpse into a larger, unknown system. Imagine listening late at night, hearing the monotonous buzz suddenly break into a voice reciting numbers. It's not just strange, it's chilling, like a message meant for someone else, but reaching your ears by mistake. Listeners have reported hearing background noises, like conversations or distant machinery, suggesting the station operates from a live environment. Many theories surround UVB-76. Some suggest it's part of a Russian military communications network, possibly used to send encrypted messages to operatives in the field. Others believe it's tied to nuclear command systems, serving as a dead man's switch. If the buzzing stops for too long, it could signal the launch of missiles. More outlandish theories claim the buzzer is a tool for controlling weather, or even for mind control experiments. These theories, though speculative, add to the eerie mystique surrounding the station. UVB-76 is often at the center of conspiracy theories. Was it a relic of the Cold War, a modern tool for encrypted communication, or something far stranger? In 2010, listeners were shocked when UVB-76 suddenly went silent for 24 hours, only to return with more frequent and varied transmissions. Later, in 2013, UVB-76 relocated its operations from Poverovo near Moscow to St. Petersburg, fueling speculation about its purpose. But perhaps the most unnerving part of UVB-76 is that, despite decades of monitoring by hobbyists and professionals alike, no one has fully uncovered its true purpose. The station continues to hum its secrets into the void, defying modern explanations. And yet, people continue to listen. Thousands of enthusiasts scattered across the globe tune in daily, hoping to catch one of its rare voice messages or decipher a pattern in its endless hum. It's become a phenomenon, a station that has been running for decades with no clear explanation, yet it still feels like something important, something hidden. Despite decades of surveillance, the mystery of UVB-76 remains unsolved. But perhaps that's exactly the point. What if the true purpose of this eerie broadcast isn't to communicate, but to distract us from something far more sinister? As we move on, our next transmission pulls us even deeper into the shadows, where cryptic signals hide secrets that could change history. Next, we'll explore another cryptic broadcast, one that was packed with numbers and a folk tune. 3. The Lincolnshire Poacher. Picture this. You're scanning the shortwave frequencies late at night. The static suddenly gives way to a jaunty English folk tune. It repeats over and over, cheerful, yet unsettling. Before you can process the melody, a robotic female voice cuts in, coldly reciting a series of numbers. 57410-63289. It feels like something out of a spy novel, but this was real. This was the Lincolnshire Poacher, one of the world's most mysterious and infamous numbers stations. What secrets did it hide, and why did it vanish just as suddenly as it appeared? During the Cold War, the world of espionage operated in the shadows, with secret messages often hidden in plain sight. The Lincolnshire Poacher is believed to be one of these covert tools, a reminder of the tense and clandestine battles fought off the battlefield. This strange broadcast, which aired for decades, was dubbed the Lincolnshire Poacher, named after the folk song it played. Operating primarily on shortwave frequencies from the late 1970s to 2008, this mysterious transmission is widely believed to have been a number station used to send encrypted messages to spies during the Cold War. The Lincolnshire Poacher would begin its broadcast with the familiar notes of the folk song, followed by a robotic female voice reciting a series of 5-digit numbers. 57410-63289. The robotic female voice was unnervingly cold, almost mechanical, contrasting sharply with the cheerful melody that preceded it. A chilling juxtaposition that felt like it hid a deadly secret. These numbers would repeat, often several times throughout the day, and anyone could tune in. But no one knew what they meant. Imagine tuning in late at night and hearing the cheerful melody followed by a robotic voice reciting numbers. Would you feel curious or a little unsettled? Theories suggest these sequences were one-time encryption codes used by intelligence agents, making the messages nearly impossible to decode without the right cipher. The fact that anyone could hear them, but no one could understand them, only added to the broadcast's eerie allure. To the average listener, It was nothing but eerie nonsense. To its intended audience, it was likely a matter of life and death. Number stations like the Lincolnshire Poacher were the lifeblood of espionage during the Cold War, a time when information was more dangerous than weapons. Many believed the Lincolnshire Poacher was operated by British intelligence as a method to communicate covertly with operatives overseas. Its signal was strong and clear, reportedly emanating from a Royal Air Force base in Cyprus. What made this station particularly eerie was its consistency. For nearly 3 decades, it broadcast almost without fail, despite the end of the Cold War, leaving many to wonder, were spies still receiving these messages? And if so, what were they planning? The station finally ceased broadcasting in 2008, leaving behind one of the most enduring mysteries of the shortwave radio world. To this day, the Lincolnshire Poacher remains a potent symbol of the Cold War's secretive, shadowy world of espionage. The legacy of number stations like the Lincolnshire Poacher still lives on, with a few remaining on the air today. These broadcasts continue to attract enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists alike, who tune in regularly, hoping to uncover some hidden meaning in the numbers. The Lincolnshire Poacher's numbers have fallen silent, but its echoes remain, a haunting reminder that even the most cheerful tune can hide a darker purpose. Could others like it still be transmitting today? The next time you turn on a shortwave radio, listen closely. You might stumble across a song you can't stop hearing, and numbers you'll never forget. But while the Lincolnshire Poacher's numbers have faded into silence, our next mystery is louder and far more bizarre. Let's move on to one of the strangest moments in television history. 3. The Max Headroom Incident. Imagine this. You're watching your favorite show when the screen flickers. The familiar programming disappears, and suddenly you're staring at a masked figure, speaking in distorted phrases, bobbing eerily in front of a rotating background. The room goes silent as you try to make sense of the chaos. What you're witnessing isn't part of the broadcast. It's something far stranger, something that shouldn't be possible. This was the Max Headroom incident, and it left an entire city stunned. On November 22, 1987 in Chicago, viewers were about to experience one of the strangest and most unsettling events in television history. During a sports broadcast on WGN-TV, the screen suddenly flickered and went black. When the image returned, it wasn't the game, it was a man wearing a Max Headroom mask. For the next 20 seconds, the hijacker appeared on screen, his head bobbing and swaying, with a rotating background that mimicked the backdrop from the popular Max Headroom TV series. A strange buzzing sound accompanied the transmission, and then, just as suddenly, the screen cut back to the regular broadcast. Later that night, the hijacker struck again, this time during an episode of Doctor Who on WTTW, Chicago's PBS station. For over 90 seconds, the masked figure appeared on screen again, this time speaking in distorted, almost nonsensical phrases. He rambled about dirty gloves, hummed the Clutch Cargo theme, and then, in an even more bizarre twist, he mooned the camera as someone off-screen swatted him with a fly swatter. Then, without warning, the broadcast returned to its original programming. What made this event so chilling wasn't just the surreal nature of the broadcast, but the feeling of vulnerability it evoked. For a brief moment, someone had seized control of the airwaves, a medium trusted to deliver news, entertainment, and truth. It was a violation, a reminder that even the systems we rely on the most can be manipulated by the unknown. It wasn't just a prank, it felt invasive, as if someone had momentarily taken control of reality itself, leaving viewers unsettled and questioning the safety of their own homes. The incident became a cultural touchstone, symbolizing the tension between technological advancement and the potential for chaos. What made this event so chilling was that no one, not the station engineers, the viewers, or the authorities, had any idea who was responsible for the hijacking or how they pulled it off. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, launched an investigation almost immediately, but they were working with limited technology. Tracking the source of the hijacking proved nearly impossible. Despite interviewing engineers, analyzing signal patterns, and scouring broadcasting equipment sales, no concrete evidence ever surfaced. To this day, the Max Headroom hijackers' identity and their motives remain a mystery. What kind of person would go to such lengths for a fleeting moment of chaos? And what were they trying to tell us, if anything at all? Some suggest it was a prank by tech-savvy teenagers looking to cause chaos. Others believe it was a politically motivated act of rebellion, aimed at critiquing the television networks or government control of media. Some conspiracy theorists have even suggested that the hijacking was a covert message meant for a select few, disguised as a nonsensical prank to mislead the public. The technical skill required to pull off such a hijacking has fascinated experts for decades. At the time, overriding a TV station's signal would have required sophisticated equipment and careful planning, leading some to speculate that it may have been an inside job or done by someone with significant broadcasting knowledge. However, despite numerous theories and investigations, no concrete evidence has ever surfaced. To this day, the Max Headroom incident remains one of the most mysterious unsolved media hijackings in history. Unlike other mysterious broadcasts, which often focus on cryptic messages or coded numbers, the Max Headroom hijacking seemed to thrive on chaos and confusion, leaving viewers disturbed and intrigued in equal measure. It wasn't just a prank, it exposed the vulnerabilities of broadcasting systems, sparking conversations about media security that still resonate today. It demonstrated how, in the wrong hands, technology could be used to disrupt and confuse on a massive scale. And in the age of digital media, where misinformation spreads like wildfire, the incident feels more relevant than ever. If someone could hijack the airwaves back then, what might be possible today? And here's the most unnerving part. Whoever orchestrated this chaotic display walked away unscathed, leaving no trace behind. They left us with no answers, only questions. The Max Headroom hijacker may be gone, but their legacy remains. A haunting reminder that in the world of media, control is always an illusion. The Max Headroom incident may have left the world scratching its head, but it didn't spark widespread fear, just confusion and curiosity. But what happens when the airwaves aren't just hijacked, but weaponized? Decades before Max Headroom's eerie antics, another broadcast blurred the line between fiction and reality, sending an entire country into panic. Final chapter, War of the World. It was Halloween Eve, October 30th, 1938. Millions of Americans gathered around their radios for what they thought would be a typical evening of entertainment. But what they got instead was something that would send shockwaves across the country. A broadcast that would become infamous for causing widespread panic. This was the War of the Worlds, a radio drama by Orson Welles, and it was so convincing that many listeners believed the Earth was truly under attack by Martians. The broadcast began innocently enough, with Welles introducing it as a dramatization of the H.G. Wells science fiction novel, The War of the Worlds. However, it quickly shifted into a series of realistic news bulletins describing strange explosions on Mars, followed by a report that a mysterious object had crashed in New Jersey. The tone of the program was so lifelike that many listeners who had missed the disclaimer at the start believed they were hearing live news reports. Reports of Martian invaders, armed with heat rays and poisonous gas, wiping out entire towns sent waves of fear through the audience. Can you imagine the terror of hearing your town's name mentioned as the next to be annihilated, knowing there's nowhere to run and no way to fight back? The portrayal of military forces being effortlessly destroyed only added to the realism, and the supposed interviews with terrified eyewitnesses made it feel even more urgent. People flooded the streets, trying to flee what they believed was an impending alien invasion. Some listeners ran outside with towels over their faces, believing the air was poisoned. Others packed their belongings and fled town, convinced they had minutes to escape annihilation. Some called their local police stations, while others packed up their cars, convinced they needed to escape the chaos. Newspapers the next day were filled with stories of the panic, with headlines like "Radio Listeners in Panic, Taking War Drama as Fact." While it's now widely known that the extent of the panic was likely exaggerated by the media, there's no doubt that the broadcast had a profound effect on those who listened. What made the War of the Worlds so effective in causing fear wasn't just the realism, but the timing. In an era when radio was the most trusted source of news, listeners were used to hearing emergency bulletins about real-world crises. The War of the Worlds broadcast exploited that trust, blending fiction with the format of breaking news to create a perfect storm of confusion. The pacing of the program, which alternated between regular programming and urgent interruptions, was similar to how stations would report on actual emergencies, further blurring the line between fact and fiction. In the aftermath of the broadcast, Wells was called a genius by some and a reckless provocateur by others. Some people believed the incident highlighted the power and danger of radio as a medium. If a single broadcast could trick so many, what else could it be used for? Could radio be a tool for manipulation or control, especially in times of fear? The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, launched an investigation, but no formal regulations were passed as a result. The panic that followed the broadcast did, however, cause broadcasters to be more careful in clearly identifying fictional content from news and future programs. While the true extent of the chaos may have been exaggerated, the War of the Worlds broadcast forever changed how we view the power of media. Even now, it stands as a cautionary tale about the power of media to manipulate emotions, whether intentionally or by accident, a lesson that feels especially relevant in today's era of viral misinformation. Today, Orson Welles' broadcast is regarded as a landmark in media history, not only as a brilliant example of radio drama, but also as a case study in mass hysteria. Its legacy lives on, as both a triumph of storytelling and a cautionary tale about the power of media to shape reality. And there you have it, 5 of the most mysterious radio broadcasts that have left the world baffled, intrigued, and even a little scared. From alien signals to cryptic messages to media hijacks, these mysterious broadcasts have one thing in common. They remind us that what we hear on the radio isn't always what it seems. From the wow signal that made us wonder if we're alone in the universe, UVB-76 buzzer that's still buzzing with secrets, to the cryptic codes of the Lincolnshire poacher and the chaotic hijack of the Max Headroom incident, each of these broadcasts has left its mark on history in its own strange way. And of course, we can't forget the War of the Worlds, which taught us just how powerful and potentially dangerous the airwaves can be. These signals didn't just come and go. They lingered, sowing confusion and sometimes even fear, with their true purpose never fully revealed. What other signals might still be hiding in the airwaves, waiting for the right ears to uncover their secrets? These transmissions remind us that there's still so much out there we don't understand. From eerie broadcasts to unexplained hijackings, the airwaves have always been a playground for mystery, sparking debates among conspiracy theorists, scientists, and skeptics alike. Thank you so much for joining us today. Whether you've been a subscriber for a while or you're new to the channel, we truly appreciate your time and curiosity. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more fascinating stories like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep exploring these intriguing mysteries together. This is Freak Files, channel that unveiling dark freak history and horror stories through documentary. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the unknown.